It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to the Science Bowl. Nice to have you here today. We're getting close to the end of our competition for elementary schools. Started out with 40 and we're almost down to the final 4. Could be one of these two schools we're going to meet today. Let's meet today's teams. First from Magnolia Elementary, would you please welcome to the program Christina Atasofo, Delilah Holloman, and Alessandra Martinez Palma. And from Rogers Heights Elementary School, on today's program, say hello to Kevin Martinez Molina, Brielle Namenzo, and Kaylee Torres Oritia. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
And here on the Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty, with easier questions on the left. They're worth 5 and 10 points. The tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points. We never deduct points for incorrect answers. Down to the 2 rounds today, one of these 2 talented, good-looking teams will come back to play again and perhaps become the first of our 4 semifinalists in our elementary competition in this, our 34th year of competition here in the Prince George's schools. Let's go over and make sure everything's working properly. Delilah, would you try the red team's buzzer? Thank you. Looks and sounds good. Good luck to you, to Christina, and to Alessandra. And Brielle, what about the green teams? Also seems to be in good working order. Good luck to you, to Kevin, and to Kaylee. And Magnolia, this is your 3rd appearance this year. You've done so well. And Rogers Heights, we welcome you for the first time. You did so well last year, you got a bye in the first round of competition, and I know we're going to have a good game today. We go alphabetically, M before R, so Magnolia and Delilah, let's play the bowl.
Go 15. What?
Go.
Go 15. Okay. Science Potpourri for 15.
Science Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, a lot of athletes eat egg white omelets, no yolk. That's because, 2-part answer, it has a lot, egg whites do, of this bodybuilding nutrient and very little of this that we try to avoid. 2-part answer. A lot of what and a little of what, Delilah?
High protein, okay. High protein and low carbs?
No. Good try. Rogers Heights?
High protein and low fat.
Low fat. That's right. Good comeback. Go green.
Zoo Parade for 5, please.
Zoo Parade for 5 points. Teams, Little Miss Muffet was one of the nursery rhymes written by this fictitious bird lady known as Mother what? Rogers Heights?
Mother Nature?
Nope, not Mother Nature. Okay. Mother who was a writer of nursery rhymes, Magnolia?
Mother Goose?
Mother Goose. Keep in mind, Rogers Heights, the category, Zoo Parade. So we were looking for an animal there. Go red.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, urination and defecation are part of your body's excretory system. I'll give you 15 points if you can spell Magnolia.
Excretory. E-X-C-R-E-T-O-R-Y.
Yes, ma'am. Nicely done. Excretory. E-X-C-R-E-T-O-R-Y. Excretion. Go, red.
Let's get physical for 20.
Physical for 20 points. Teams, what famous Greek jumped into a bathtub and saw all of the displaced water come out? Magnolia.
Archimedes?
It is Archimedes. He's the one who yelled Eureka when he discovered that all of that displaced water was equal to the volume of his body that had been inside. Nicely done. Go red.
Science Potpourri for 20.
Science, again?
Science Potpourri for 20.
Science Potpourri for 20 points is a visual question. Look at the monitor, please, in the studio. This mother armadillo is there with her 4 babies. It's very unusual. When armadillos give birth, they always give birth to either 4 boys or 4 girls. And they always have identical DNA, which means armadillos always give birth to identical whats? Rogers Heights.
Identical quadruplets.
You got that right. Nicely done, Brielle. Good. Go.
Zoo parade for 10, please.
Zoo parade for 10 points. Teams, the New York Public Library recently published a list of the 10 most checked out books over the last 125 years. One of them was this E.B. White story about an arachnid and a pig. Magnolia.
Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's Web, that's it. Thank you, Allison. We have a lot of readers over there. I knew you'd get that. Look at that score, 90 to 80, 10-point advantage, Magnolia. Go red.
Dateline Science for 20.
Dateline for 20 points, teams. This is the 75th anniversary in the year 2020 of the development of this weapon of mass destruction that was tested in the New Mexico desert. Name it. Rogers Heights.
Atomic bombs.
Atomic bomb, that's it. Kaylee, thank you for your help on that. Go.
Green things for 5, please.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, let's go back to the nursery rhymes. There was a girl named Mary, then they asked her a question. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does this green thing grow? Magnolia.
Garden.
Garden, yeah, with silver bells and cockle shells and little maids all in a row. Go red.
No, that song. Let's get physical for 15.
Physical for 15 points. Teams, iodine is a chemical element. It exists in crystal form. If you heat it, it changes from a crystal to a violet vapor. Cool it, and the vapor will recrystallize. So it never melts, so it sublimates. I'll give you the points if you can spell
Sublimates.
Magnolia.
Sublimates. Sublimates.
That's it. You got it. Sublimates, part of a process called sublimation. Same process that takes place when you see frost on a windshield of a car. Notice it never melts. It goes directly to water vapor. It goes to a gas. All right, score 110 to 100. Magnolia, 10-point lead. Go.
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade for 20 points. Teams, this is unusual. Both the male and the female pigeon will lactate, meaning they can provide what for their chicks? Magnolia.
Milk.
Milk, absolutely. Something called crop milk. Not like cow's milk, but still a nutritive solution to help their babies grow. Red.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25, the big one in that category, teams. What same word means a creature you might find in a coral reef and a growth that you might find inside your large intestine? For 25 points, Magnolia.
Bloating.
Not bloating, no. Rogers Heights. What same word can describe a creature you would find in a coral reef and a growth you would find inside your your large intestine?
Clot.
A polyp. A polyp. Little polyps inside that coral reef. Those are the living parts of the reef. The buzzer says we've come to the end of the first round. It's been a good one. Our score right now, Magnolia 130, Rogers Heights 100, and we will be back with round 2 in just a moment. Don't go away. And welcome back to Science Bowl. Before we ask any more questions of our 6 outstanding students, let's find out about them and their schools. Let's go first to Magnolia. We were saying at the top of the show, Magnolia, you've been here twice already. Here you are, your 3rd time back this year. Are you feeling pretty confident, Delilah?
Yes.
Yeah, well, you look confident over there, and you have a whip-smart team over there, too. You really know your stuff. Tell us about Magnolia for people who don't know anything about the school. Who's your principal?
Dr. Gillens.
Absolutely. She has been there for a number of years, and she is just a tremendous principal. And who's the coach of your team?
Mr. Allen.
Mr. Allen, yes, and he has a long history of Science Bowl. One of the best coaches ever. And I know you have a couple alternates. What are their first names?
Anya and Nora.
We'll bring them out in a few moments. They're down there in the green room watching this and yelling the answers, but we can't hear them here in the studio. What do you like about Magnolia, Delilah?
I like that the Magnolia is really green, so we try to keep recycling and keep the environment friendly.
You know, that's the way to. I mean, a magnolia is a tree, and it's green. So you're doing the green thing. You're being environmentally conscious over there. I think that's just tremendous. We've got to save this planet. It seems like We're at a really crucial point right now with where we live. What do you want to do someday, Delilah?
I want to be a psychiatrist
Psychiatry, yeah. Why so?
because I like how interesting people are, and I like to help people with their problems because you shouldn't be put in a room all day alone with nobody there. It makes you even more crazy. So.
Absolutely right. Yeah, it's not easy to live, and you need some people there to help you. Sometimes it's not a sign of weakness. You just need help. It's tough to do it on your own. Alessandra, you're a reader, I know, and you're also interested in botany. Where did that come from?
I started getting interested in botany because I was watching this show on Animal Planet about plants.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be cool to learn and study.
And you told me earlier that you have a Venus flytrap. And what is the minimum number of hairs that have to be triggered before that thing snaps?
3.
Have you seen that happen?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to feed it something? Yeah. And does it appreciate? Does it thank you? Yeah. Sometimes I think plants have a little more going on than we give them credit for. Christina, nice to have you with us today. What do you want to do someday?
I want to be a pediatrician.
Pediatrician. And you do have brothers and sisters at home. They're all older than you are, but you like kids and you want to help kids. Did you have a pediatrician who made a big impression on you?
Not that I know of.
So no role model there. Who are your role models, Christina?
I'm not really sure yet, but the thinking of helping kids really wanted me to be a pediatrician.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to read the Kid Post in the newspaper, and they ask who their role models are, and it's usually a fight between mom and dad and a grandparent as a role model. Yeah. Let's go over to Rogers Heights. Brielle, nice to have you guys here. Tell us about Rogers Heights. Who's your principal?
Dr. Bottoms.
Absolutely. And I know she's a big fan of you guys. I know she's supporting you. Tell me about your coach. You have a couple coaches, don't you? Who are they?
We have Miss Rajiv and Mr. Walker.
Wonderful. And they'll be out in just a few moments' time here. Alternates, names, first names of your alternates?
Hannah and Claire.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned their names because we want to bring them out. We want to give them credit because they're an integral part of this team. I know they practiced with you. What do you like about your school?
I like basically everything about my school, but mostly the teachers and how much they've helped me improve over the years.
Well, those are the most important things. Without great teachers, without advocates and role models, why bother going? Yeah, it's just, I've heard great things about the school, and I've been there too. What do you want to do someday, Brielle?
I want to be a vet.
Vet. And you have a dog at home, don't you? What's the dog's name?
Maya.
Yeah, and what kind of breed?
Cocker Spaniel and Poodle mix.
Very nice. I'm sure you take very good care of your dog too. Kevin, nice to have you here today. Future surgeon, yeah? Yeah. Science, one of your favorite subjects?
Yes.
Yeah, because I know, I can just tell you're a serious-minded young man, and you said that there was a personal incident in your life that kind of had pointed you towards surgery, right? Yeah, that's what the way life is. Sometimes these moments happen, and I think, boy, maybe this is something I could spend my life doing and be good at and like. What do you do in your spare time, Kevin?
I conduct mini experiments when I have the time, like in the backyard or in my room.
So you are a scientist, aren't you? You've been a scientist and you're doing all the right things. And Kaylee, nice to have you here today. Why'd you want to be on our show?
I wanted to be on the show because I love science and I love the competition.
And that's what this is all about. Yeah, and you're doing a nice job here today, too. What about you? What do you want to do someday?
I want to be a brain surgeon.
A brain surgeon, yeah. Why a brain surgeon?
Because I like dealing with like basically the best organ and the most important organ in your body, and like dealing with brain tumors to help people.
Absolutely. Well, you and Delilah have the same interest there because the brain is, for as smart as we are, there's so much about that organ we do not know. Thanks for sharing that. Let's get back to the game. All right, last correct answer was from Magnolia. So, Delilah, let's start the second half. Lots of points to give away. Go.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, most of the bark on an older tree is made of this material, which famously can float and is used as a stopper for wine bottles. Magnolia.
Cork.
I can't hear you.
Cork.
Say it louder.
Cork.
Cork. Yes, make sure you enunciate so we know what you're saying. Cork it is. Thank you, Alessandra. You're our botanist over there. Go red.
Zuprate for 15.
Zuprate for 15 points. Teams, if you wanted to find out how old a rattlesnake is, you could ask it. Or you could count the number of rings on its tail. That wouldn't work. The real test of its age is to count the number of rings on these. Rogers Heights.
Pass it to Kaylee.
On the rattle.
Not on the rattle, no. That we were just saying, not on the tail. Where would you count the rings? Where are the growth rings in a rattlesnake? Magnolia, what do you think?
On its head?
In its bones. Its bones. Bones form growth rings. Go again, Red.
Okay. Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Justin Bieber recently revealed that he has this disease spread by ticks and named for a town in Connecticut. Rogers Heights.
Lyme disease?
Lyme disease, exactly right. Good. Go. Green.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, prothrombin and thrombin are chemicals found in your platelets that help your blood to do this. Delilah.
Clot?
Clot or coagulate. Good answer. Good. Red.
Zoo parade for 25.
Again, please.
Zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade for 25. Big one in that category. Teams, most people think that the first non-humans in space, the first animals, were dogs and chimpanzees. Not true. The first creatures in space were these insects that are associated with, yes, Delilah.
Fruit flies?
Fruit flies is right. Absolutely, Alessandra. Those that were involved in genetics research with Mueller, the ones you find around bananas all the time. Good answer. Go Red.
Green things for 25. Green things for 25.
Green things for 25 points. Teams, this almost completely indigestible carbohydrate found, yes.
Fiber?
Not fiber, no. Rogers Heights, this almost completely indigestible carbohydrate found in the cell walls of plants is oftentimes harvested by taking it from wood and cotton. It's a substance that is used in industry a lot.
Cellulose?
Cellulose, that's it. Good. Green.
Let's get physical for 5.
Physical for 5 points. Teams, because photons never slow down, you might say that the universal speed limit is the speed of what? Magnolia.
Light?
Light. Good. Go.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20. It's a multiple choice question, teams. Rubber trees are sliced, and there's a white milky substance that comes out that is turned into rubber. Is it called lymph, lignin, or latex? Which of those three, Magnolia?
Latex.
Latex is right. Absolutely right. All right. I saw another light come on. Just wait over there until we recognize before, because you rang in second. Okay, go Red.
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25 points. Teams, a lot of us carry around bottles of water, spring water. If you look at the label, it will tell you, without exception, that the pH of that water is what number? Magnolia.
8?
No. Rogers Heights, what is the pH always on a bottle of spring water?
9.
7. 7 on the scale of 0 to 14. 7 is always neutral. No points. Go Red.
Science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points. Teams, they call it the dollhouse of death. There's Barbie, dead. Did Ken kill her? It's a little diorama at the University of Maryland that a professor uses to teach a course in CSI. What is CSI? Magnolia?
Crime scene investigation.
You got it right. Crime scene investigation. Yeah, that's been on television for so many years. Go Red.
Dateline science for 25.
Dateline for 25 points is a visual question. Look at the monitor, please, in the studio. Teams, that lightning rod atop that skyscraper is taking the lightning and safely taking it down into the ground. The man who invented that lightning rod was an American inventor and statesman who famously said, "Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." Who was that American? Rogers Heights.
Pass it to Kevin.
Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin. You got it, Kevin. Nicely done. You got yourself 25 points. Go.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Team, 20 points.
10.
Let's get 10 points. Teams, if a fire breaks out and you don't have a fire extinguisher, you can make your own. If you mix together baking soda and vinegar, you will produce this Magnolia.
Carbon dioxide?
Carbon dioxide, that suffocating gas that will make sure that the oxygen cannot survive. Go. Nicely done, Delilah.
Dateline science for 15.
Dateline for 15 points. Teams, back in 1994, one of these heavenly travelers with a tail slammed into the... Yes, Magnolia.
Comet?
Comet. Yes, the Shoemaker-Levy comet that slammed into Jupiter, and we could see it through telescopes. It was a huge explosion. Go.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, doctors will tell you, and so will your mother. If you sneeze, do not sneeze into your hand, sneeze into your what? Rogers Heights?
Your arm or your elbow.
That's right, your elbow or your arm. Go, Brielle.
Science Potpourri for 10.
Science Potpourri for 10 points. Teams Purdue Chicken is coming up with new packaging for its chicken. It will be able to dissolve in water when you're done using it. It is made of what powdery substance that comes from maize, oftentimes found in your cabinet and used in baking. Rogers Heights.
Starch.
Say it again.
Starch.
What kind?
Rice.
No. Magnolia. What is that powdery substance that comes from maize?
Cornstarch, actually cornstarch. Yeast.
Cornstarch. Cornstarch is what I needed to hear. Go green.
Green things.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Green things for 15, I believe, was taken already. Yes, that was cork. That should not be available yet. Go again. My apologies.
DATELINE Science for 10.
DATELINE for 10 points. Teams, boy, you talk about lucky. There was a student, a U.S. high school student, who became an intern at the Goddard Space Flight Center. On his third day, he found a new planet. And that planet, like the fictional Tatooine in the Star Wars movies, yes, Delilah.
Has 2 suns.
Has 2 suns, that's right. It was part of a binary system. Nicely done. Go.
Science Potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points. Who would have ever thought it? The most popular animal of all time is this barnyard animal. Delilah.
Pony?
Not a pony, Brielle.
Cow?
A goat. Greatest of all time. Oh, now they get it. Okay, go again, green.
Science Potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for that was Potpourri for 5 points.
Oh. DATELINE for 10, please.
DATELINE Science for 10 was the 2 suns. Did we not turn those off when they were used? All right. What is left up there, judges?
Just the 5.
Just the 5 in DATELINE? All right. Go ahead, Brielle. This is the DATELINE Science for 5 points. Teams, at this year's Tokyo Olympics this summer, all of the medals, the gold, the silver, and the bronze, are going to be made from recycled these that we all carry around and people call mobiles in most of the world. Magnolia.
Cell phones?
Cell phones. The cell phones are going to be recycled into those medals, and we've come to the end of the game. It looks like Magnolia has done it, and we'll be back in a moment. Don't you go away. Welcome back, everyone. What a game this was. I hope you enjoyed this as much at home as we did here in the studio. Boy, were they good players. They're all winners in my eyes. I know yours too. Our final tally today is Rogers Heights 180, Magnolia 280. Let's have a round of applause for the Magnolia team. Christina and Delilah and Alessandra. And look at the alternates back there. Anya, would you wave to everybody? And Nora and Mr. Yorkman is here. So good to have you here today. And as I was saying, Mr. Allen, one of the best of our 34 years is right over there. And Dr. Phyllis Gillens, the principal of the school, she is there too. And she dressed like everybody else today. We love those shirts. And let's have a round of applause for that Rogers Heights team. Kevin and Brielle and Kayla, you guys played a super game here today. And would you wave Claire? Where is Claire over there? And Hannah and Miss Rajiv, thank you for being part of this. And Mr. Walker, always good to have you here. I still remember you as Johnny Appleseed many years ago. You played a good part. Thank you all for being with us today. Hope to see you next time on the Science Bill. Till then, I'm Dave Zarin. Bye-bye.